We got some Lions news, and got to talk about it. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. If you're a fan of the Detroit Lions, you're going to want to subscribe to this channel. Why is that? Well, the channel's called Lions Talk by Chat Sports. It's all about the Detroit Lions, so if you're a Lions fan, you're going on to subscribe. I mean, I just don't really understand why you wouldn't. Let's get into the news. Again, no big-time graphics today as my back is a little bit jacked up. So I'm going to do the old screen share, but we got some news here. St. Brown. I had surgery on my knee after the season just to clean some things up, St. Brown said. So rehabbing that. So I've been rehabbing that, but I should be good to go. Clean up. More bad news, right? Like it's we've had some interesting news this offseason, right? A couple days ago, Frank Ragno retires. St. Brown now has a procedure on his knee. Even though this is bad news, this is never good news to have procedure. And we're going to talk about Frank Ragno, Dan Campbell here in a minute. I love it. I love it. So we're going to get into this, though. Here's good news and the bad news of the good news. If he's talking about a cleanup and that's orthoscopic surgery, I think a lot of you probably have had that. I've had orthoscopic surgery. It's a surgery. It's like maybe sometimes it could be overnight or it could just be an in and out, procedure. Couple weeks, generally speaking, is something like that. And when you're talking about St. Brown and you got train camp coming up, relatively, about in a month or so, I think he'll probably be good to go. If you're talking about week one, there's absolutely no doubt about it. He's not going to be playing in any preseason game anyway, folks. St. Brown is the epitome of hardworking. If he says he should be good to go, I 110% believe him. I had that type of surgery before, and there's a difference between orthoscopic or like an invasive. So let me know in the comments, are you worried about St. Brown? Why for yes and for no? Again, I'm not worried about it. Just giving you my true thoughts here. Yeah, it's not good to have surgery, but it's also, look, if he had some sort of thing he had to get cleaned up before the season, I do appreciate that. I mean, we've all had that. We've all had that. I'll just tell you my personal experience so you can get an idea. I've had real hardcore surgery, first time on my left shoulder. A lot of friends that listen are veterans in my unit. Remember, I had to have my shoulder got ripped out, and I had to have reconstructive surgery with all my tendons and ligaments. It was about a year later. It just tweaked it a little bit, and I had to have orthoscopic surgery. So what it is it's like microscope, and they cut a little bit, and they go in there, and they just tighten things up. That's what they did here. So if it's something to do, he's talking about is just a little bit of cleanup. I'm going to assume that's what they did with his knee, the orthoscopics. And yes, he should be good to go, right? He should be good to go. The first couple weeks suck, but he'll get back into it. And I guarantee you that the Lions organization will take it slow. But if you're worried about week one, no. I'm not even worried about the connection of him and Jared Goff. That should be good to go. I'm sure they'll be practicing fine, halfway through training camp. I'm really not too concerned about it. It's not good, but it could be way, way, way worse. Now let's get into this one here. In this, Dan Campbell praises Frank Ragno, shuts down the disrespectful contract narrative. Thank you about this. Now we're going to talk about this contract narrative because this is now twice of this happened. I talked in the back end with folks in the back end, behind the scenes, other content creators. Let's get into Dan Campbell first. Says, Frank's been unbelievable. Campbell said he was emotional when he talked. Teammates, football players, community, he's done it all. He's been sorely missed. The greatest memories I have of Frank Ragno is divisional championship playoff game against Tampa Bay, 4th and 1. He ran downhill. Craig Reynolds, Frank's big boy, beat Vita Vea. He hits him, drops to the knee, has on his back, tie the block, score. That was huge. That was the type of player that he'd miss. We love him. He continues on. I've got a lot of respect for Frank Ragno, Campbell Stemley cited. I love him to death, and quite frankly, some of this stuff about contract talk, that's disrespectful. That's not what was ever about. Love you, Frank. Appreciate you. Let's continue on. Yeah, if that was part of the deal, would have found out way by communication. We've been open and clear. But also know Frank, and this is not about that. This is not about that. Talking about the contract. When he's contemplating retirement for a while. We knew this, right? But there was never a yes or no. Exactly. The best that we give them is space, 100%. Exactly right. They're going through the decision out there. We certainly like before the offseason, and he did that in his time. Folks, the media narrative that happened, it was a couple days before he went to retirement. Dave Burkett did an article saying that it was about contract. I did not believe that at all. I made a video right there saying I think it's crazy. If Frank's missing, I don't think it has anything to do with contract. I think if there was a contract issue, it'd get taken care of. It would have been taken care of instantly. Let's do it. Let's do a comparative. If you are a WWE fan, R-Truth was just released. If McMahon was there, he probably wouldn't have been released, okay? I don't see there being a contract issue. I never seen being a contract issue. When that came up, it was kind of shocking because Frank Ragno is the type of player, if you know, is not really about money. He's never been about that. He doesn't have the shiniest toys, and he's not that type of guy, so I never really understood it. It was always about his body. So in the comments, what do you think about the coverage that took place with Frank Ragno in this contract? I thought it was not true, ended up being completely false. Now, this is 2 times that stories have come out that end up being completely and utterly false. There is nothing to it. And I do believe Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell when they say there's nothing to it. It was the Jamison Williams trade talk saying that he could get traded. And now this, with Frank Ragno contract, that was not true at all. The reason he wasn't there was not contract, is he's contemplating retirement because of his body. And we have known for years about his body. We have known his toe. We've known that. We've never heard anything about a contract talk. Nothing. So I want to know, where has this stemmed from? Where has this contract talk stemmed from? Where is this Jamison Williams trade talk? Where did it start from? I don't know. And this is twice that this happened. And I've been on YouTube for this is my 7th year doing YouTube. And I could say, for them to get it wrong this much, this quick, is quite shocking. And doesn't happen much. But I want to know what's going on here because, first off, the trade talk was ridiculous because no one ever talked about it. So where'd it come from? And same with the contract. Is it just because Frank Ragno was missing and they just assumed that? I don't know. But we got to get better in reporting. And I told you about this with the JMO stuff. When I heard about these trade rumors when they first started months ago, I went to everybody's. Speakeasy, I went to everybody that I knew. They all said the same thing to me. We're not hearing anything. They weren't hearing anything. I wasn't hearing anything that was legit. So I just say I don't think it's true. I'm not hearing anything legit. When it came to Frank Ragno contract, it all hit at one night. It was all showing on the on the news and everyone was seeing it. It didn't make sense to me. Contract issue with Frank Ragno and the staff, that doesn't seem like something that would ever occur for both sides. They both like each other. Only thing I said was physical issue. And it being a physical issue, we need to get better on this. And all I could say is it's unfortunate because I got to do these articles and I got to now determine if some of this stuff is actually even true when it comes out, and you shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to do that every single time, but we're getting to that point that potentially is the case. But I do appreciate Dan Campbell kind of calling this out. Because this stuff this stuff is getting annoying. I don't know where it's coming from. I really don't know where it's stemming from. But I guess you guys out there, if you see news or if you feel like I'm out of line, call me out. Call it out. Because if it's getting out of line, it's getting out of line, right? But I know I can't blame any of the content creators that don't have any connections. How can you blame them, right? They don't know anything. It's the people in the know that says this. Now, I gotta say, there's one person you want to listen to, Jeff Risdon, and him and all the Detroit Lions podcasts. I never heard. I seen them do a live stream, and I got to give them credit. They're like me. They didn't make sense about the financial thing. It was more, you're like, okay, we can maybe give a bonus or something like that. But it was more of a physical. And Chris and Riz, they talked about their podcast. And Riz he is in the know. And he wasn't hearing much on that. He was hearing, obviously, the physical stuff. We all know that. So we'll see. But definitely, you guys are running the show. Call it out. Call us all out. Call everybody out. Let's get this stuff to end. Weird trade rumors and weird stuff that's just not making sense, folks. With that said, adios.